Hey folks, Sandamtod here. Right before I got ready to start, my freaking cat threw up all over the floor. So, I'm kind of out of sorts. I got a package that I ordered, and I had to go to the post office to get it, and it seems like every time I go to the post office where they don't just leave it and I have to go there, it's always some kind of fucking hassle. And I really don't understand, why, but it always seems to be. And it's just like, let's put a little more light on the subject, being me. And, so anyway, I ordered this thing. I didn't know I was going to have to go pick it up. I figured they'd just leave it, but, anyway, I saw that it was out for delivery like last Thursday, so it's been like a week. Toward the end of the day, I check on the tracking to see if it had been delivered, and it says, could not deliver. And, so I was like, well, alright. Figured there's one of those slips, so I got home. Of course, there's a slip. I figured I'd just go on my lunch break to go get it. So anyway, get ready to go at lunch. I check the thing, read the address on it, but I don't really pay much attention to what the address is because I figure it's this post office, that's closest to my house over here off the old Independence Square. It's called Harry S. Truman, or no, that one's not Harry S. Truman. The one I was supposed to go to is called Harry S. Truman. And so I get in my car, I drive over here to the one by my house, and I get out, and I start to walk up to the door, and I look at the slip thing. And it was old as shit to begin with, and all wrinkled and stuff, and the guy had written on it. And I was just like, well, I don't know how freaking loud this is. I have my surround sound speakers aimed right at me, so I have, something on, and it sounds super loud to me, and it's not loud at all, so it might sound like I'm yelling, on this. But anyway, I get out of my car, and I start to walk up to the door to go in, and I notice that it says that it's not this post office. It's actually on the slip. The address is printed on there, like type printed on there, not written on there. And so I'm like, shit, this is the post office that's almost right by my work. So I had driven, 7 miles to this post office, got out, started to go in, and in this slip says it's the other post office. And I'm like, alright, so I get back in my car without going in, so, the onus, is it on me? I don't think so. Get over to the post office by my work, thinking, oh great, well I can just pick this up, slide over to Subway or something, get something to eat for lunch, and truck on back to work. And, I go inside. Of course, I'm waiting in line. They got like one person doing the people, and she's in no mood, evidently. And so this guy comes out from the back, and he starts kind of taking some people and kind of, yells something in the back like, we could use somebody else up here, And so a third person comes up, takes the person that's right in front of me, and I'm like, well, who's going to finish? Who do I get? The bitchy woman that was working the counter by herself, the guy that just showed up, or the new person? Who's going to finish first, And of course, I get the old biddy that's all mad at life, I guess. I don't know. And I get up there, and I go to give her the slip. Not give her the slip, like get out of there, that's slang lingo, but I give her the thing, and she's like, I need to see your ID, and I'm like, alright, so I go to get it out of my wallet, and as I'm getting it out, she's like, oh no, and I'm like, what? And she's like, She goes, this isn't this post office. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I go, it's printed right on there. And she goes, don't you know where you get your email from? She said email. And I'm like, what? And she's like, she repeats it, you know, don't you know where you get your email from? And I'm like, well, I didn't get email, you know. And then she gets all snitty and it's like, she goes, no, your mail, like that in my face. And I'm like, come on, bitch. You know, I mean, I didn't say that to her, but I'm like, what did I do to you, you know? And she's like, no, this is wrong. Don't you know what post office delivers your mail? And I'm like, evidently not. I go, I'm going by what's printed on the slip that was put in my mailbox. You know, and she's like, well, you need to go over to the other one off the square. And I'm like, I was just there. And she's like, well, whatever. You know, kind of was her attitude. She's like, well, that's where you need to go. And I go, thanks, I guess. You know, and I turned around and started to walk out of there. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I said that as I turned from her and was kind of like walking out of there. And the person that was standing at the other end getting helped by the woman that just showed up there kind of gave me a look like, yeah, I don't know what that was about. And I was like, you know, whatever, you know, and I just walked out of there. And so I drive my happy ass back over to the other post office again. So now my lunch break is virtually over. I mean, there's like 10 minutes left of it by the time I get over to the post office. Well, maybe 15. And I get in there and I'm waiting in line and I get up to the counter. Same drill, you know, I need your slip. Can I see your ID? I'm like, yeah, here it is. She's like, thank you, Mr. Sandage. You know, and it's just like, I'm like, whatever, you know. So anyway, I'm just like, get up there. And she goes in the back. And I'm seriously, literally waiting for her to come back and say the package isn't back there. Because that happened to me before with something that a fellow YouTuber sent me, TurboGrafx. It was, you know, one of the nicest things that anybody just sent me out of the blue. You know, and they shipped it from, like, Canada. It was this guy named Super NES Man, and I don't know if he's still around or if he's got a new YouTube account or new name. But he sent that to me, and I was really grateful. But when I went up there to get it from the post office, they're like, we don't have it. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't have it? And they're like, well, we don't know where it is. And they had evidently handed it out to somebody else, and that person, out of the goodness of their heart, saw it wasn't their package and decided to bring it over to my house, bring it to my address. So it's like every single time I have to go to the post office for anything, it gets fucked up. I would rather they left it on my front porch and take the gamble that somebody might take it off my porch than have them take it back to the post office. I mean, that's how freaking bad it is. But anyway, I got my package in the mail, and I was kind of excited. It's a Laserdisc. So I did make it back to work on time, and I had to eat a McChicken sandwich because it was the only drive-thru I could make it to on the way back. And you know how delicious they are. Well, they're all right. I'm harshing on McDonald's for no reason, but so anyway, this is a Laserdisc that I've been wanting for a while. I don't know if it's on the rarer side, but it's on the collectible side. It's a little more collectible. People kind of seek it out a little bit. I've seen on eBay some ones that have gone for about what I paid, but I've seen some that have gone for over 100 or 150 because they're still sealed or whatever. Mine was not sealed. It was gently used. Actually, the edge on the thing in two spots is kind of worn through. You know how with record albums, especially in Laserdisc 2, you know, if you pop the disc in or drop it in, you know, it puts that strain on the edge and it'll crack through. And that kind of happened on the left edge, and then the top, it looks like has a similar little bit of wear. But they said that in the ad. I actually got it off of Amazon. And I don't know how many people were looking for it, but I decided to treat myself a little bit because I had gotten a raise at work, and I was like, well, I'll buy one thing for myself, even though I don't need, but want to save some money to get some bank built back up. But I decided to get this, and I might have talked it up quite a bit, but anyway, here we go. It came in this nice hard plastic sleeve, which was nice. And I'm okay with the damage. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, it's hard to know what kind of damage you're actually talking about when you say some slight wear on the spine, or whatever. But all in all, I'm not at all concerned, considering the cost. I got it for $50. I think it was like $55 with the shipping. And you're like, quit talking it up and show us. It's one of my favorite movies, and it is The Evil Dead 2 on Laserdisc. And you're like, why is this so freaking rare? It's rare, and I'll show you in just a second why it's rare. But it's got the full movie. It has a commentary track on here, which actually I figured out is the same commentary track, which is cool, on my Laserdisc, my DVD edition, Evil Dead 2, I think this was considered the deluxe edition, because it had special features and stuff on it. But anyway, this is the Evil Dead 2 DVD, and it's got the same commentary on it as this particular one. So you're not missing out if you don't have a Laserdisc player on a different commentary. Unlike on some of like my Night of the Living Dead, and there's like a Get Shorty. I think I have Get Shorty. There's a couple movies I have that have commentary tracks on them that were either different from the commentary tracks on the DVDs, or they don't have commentary tracks on the DVDs. The special feature, like the trailer is on this, but the special feature behind the scenes thing, I think it's called Behind the Screams, actually, on this, I don't believe is the same as what exists on that, because on that, the featurette's called The Gore the Merrier, and this is called Behind the Screams, so you can kind of see a little bit of that edge wear. I don't know how close, I can't really put it very close, but you can see where it kind of broke through there and kind of folded it over slightly. I'm one of those people that believes I'd rather leave it kind of dinged up than put any kind of tape or try to glue it. There's really not anything to glue it down to, and the same thing kind of happened on this very edge here, but the actual sleeve itself is in really, really good shape. I mean, as far as like the corners aren't messed up. Like sometimes you get corners that have been dropped, to be messed up or whatever. But the reason why this is so rare, and like I said, I paid $55 for it, is because of the Laserdisc itself, and I will show you why. It comes in one of these bags, so I'm going to get it out of the bag and then I'll show you. The reason why is because the Laserdisc itself is blood red. Evil Dead 2. I've seen a couple other discs that were colored gold or something, but I don't know if it was for a particular reason. This one was minted red for the purpose of the Laserdisc, and it's a two-sided Laserdisc. But that's why this is worth worth a little bit more money in the collectible Laserdisc kind of arena. And I was willing to pay $50 for it. They actually don't have a version of Evil Dead 2 that's not red, so if you even want it on Laserdisc, you have to buy the red. Actually, I can't be 100% on that, but I'm like 90 plus % sure they did not have a release that was not red for the Laserdisc. So anyway, that's what I bought. That's what I had to fight that old bitch at the fucking post office for. And that's pretty much this video. I thought I'd go ahead as a bonus and show you this again. I know when I bought it I showed it, but this is my actual Evil Dead Laserdisc. And it's still sealed. This is the cheaper version of the Laserdisc. Look at that art. I mean, that's just awesome. But, I mean, this is the cheaper one because they recorded in a couple different formats. And the CLV format is like a lengthy play. It's kind of like when you would record on a VCR and you had the SP and the SLP. Hey, y'all remember VHS? But when you recorded on the full speed, yeah, it took more tape, but the video quality was a lot better. It's kind of the same thing with this. And like I think you're like frame by frame skipping and all that kind of stuff that you can do is mainly on the CAV versions versus the CLV. They do have a CAV version of this. It looks similar to this, but it's the full color picture with the black border and the red words. And I would like to get a copy of that. I think this one ran me like 20 new sealed, and the other ones were running like 35 or 40 used. So that's why I picked this one up. And I do not have Army of Darkness on Laserdisc yet, but I plan to get it. It's one of my favorite franchise series of all time, and that's why I'm so stoked about the mini series that's going to be on Stars coming out on Halloween. I think it's 12, at least 10, 12 episodes, I think. So it looks like it's going to be pretty cool, and I'm really stoked for it. Been a big Evil Dead fan for a long time, and actually one of my favorite Evil Dead things that I own is my Evil Dead Ash bobblehead that I traded Mitch up in Minnesota for a long time back. And I've got, you know, a couple other action figures. I have the McFarlane, and I have the one where he's dressed in the S-Mart smock and stuff. So, but I'm going to sign off. I got home, decided I wanted to shoot this video so I could post it tomorrow. So I think I'm done, and I'm going to sit down and try to watch the premiere of Arrow. I got about 20 minutes into it. I watched the Flash premiere. That's pretty damn cool. If you aren't watching the Flash or Arrow, really they kind of overlap, especially in the third season of the Arrow and in the first season of the Flash, kind of have some overlapping episodes. And they're going to overlap even more into this new show called Legends of Tomorrow that's going to be coming out. But, you know, and I'm not a huge DC guy, but this has been, for me, Flash and Arrow and stuff are better than, like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This Heroes reboot I'm not super stoked about. I just feel like they're kind of trying to jump into a flooded market already. If you haven't seen the Daredevil Netflix series, the season 1, you need to watch that, because that's one of the best as far as like comic book based miniseries or shows that, you know, people, I was like, yeah, you know, after that Affleck movie and stuff, but it's a totally different animal, and it's a lot better. So I'm going to sign out. I'm not going to talk about shows. I'm going to go watch some shows. Peace, folks. Hope everything's cool with everybody, and thanks to any and all new people that come by and those who stick around. And you know who you are, the ones that I really correspond with on a regular basis through the comments and stuff. And I appreciate you hanging around. So later, guys and gals. Bye.